Sie führen mich ein, so wie ich für dich eingetreten bin.
Что же, если немцы хотят иметь истребительную войну, они ее получат.
By early 1945, Nazi Germany was collapsing. The Western allies, which includes US, Britain, were storming in from the west, and the Soviets were storming in from the east. The Berlin city, which used to be a peaceful city, is now going to be a war zone. Marshal Georgy Zhukov and Marshal Johann Kunev led two massive Soviet fronts toward the Berlin. The Soviet front had over 2.5 million of men in their army, 6,250 tanks, 7,500 aircraft, and 41,600 artillery, and making it hard for Nazis and Adolf Hitler to defend Berlin. By April 1945, the Soviets had captured East Prussia, Budapest, and a big part of Eastern Europe, reaching on to the borders of Berlin. The US Army Air Forces has already bombed German capital Berlin that ended just before Soviets entered the city. On April 16, 1945, the Soviets launched their assault on the Seelow Heights just 90 kilometers away from Berlin. After 4 days of bitter fighting, Soviet forces pushed and opened through the road to Berlin. Inside the Berlin, chaos started, and Adolf Hitler refused to leave his bunker. Berlin was about to become a battlefield. On 28th of April 1945, Soviet artillery began shelling Berlin. On April 23rd, Red Army reached the outskirts of Berlin. The battle turned into street-to-street combat. Soviet troops faced sniper, Panzer-Faust ambushes, and booby traps at every corner. Entire neighborhood became a war zone. The Soviets responded with overwhelming firepower. Artillery flattened every city block, and lots of civilians were killed, and around hundreds of thousands of civilians were killed. On 30th of April 1945, Hitler shot himself. By May 2nd, the Soviet army surrounded Berlin. Just days later, on May 8th, Germany Nazis also surrendered to the Soviet army. In the Battle of Worming, a lot of casualties happened. Soviets lost around 80,000 of their soldiers, with more than 275k injured. Germany casualties are more harder. They lost around 100k to 150k of their soldiers, and sadly over 100k civilians were killed in this brutal battle of Berlin.